of care. We join hands across the nations, finding neighbors everywhere. We are learners, we are teachers, we are pilgrims on the way. We are seekers, we are givers, we are vessels made of clay. By our gentle, loving actions, we would show that Christ is light. In a humble, listening spirit, we would live to God's delight. As a green bud in the springtime is a sign of life renewed, so may we be signs of oneness mid its peoples many-hued. As a rainbow lights the heavens when a storm is past and gone, may our lives reflect the radiance of God's new and glorious dawn.
The hymn "As a Fire is Meant for Burning" speaks to me of how important mission is in our service to God's glory, but also how connected we feel to God through acts of loving kindness from other people, either if we're giving them or we're on the receiving end.
This is not a wildfire we're singing about. It's a controlled, purposeful fire, meant to enlighten and warm all who witness it. It's our church, I see that. As a fire, our church needs to be lit, fed, and made available. Our fire, our light and warmth, is for all neighbors and nations.
Mission is about always trying to improve the world for the betterment of all life in it, and serving God's creation in that way, I think, is the best way we can show our appreciation and glorify God.
Consistent with the words of this hymn, our church is not tied self-righteously to creeds and customs. While we love our sanctuary and our traditions, we are, like the hymn says, merely pilgrims to and seekers of the whole truth. While we may be vessels made of clay, we are being molded for a purpose. We are shaped into givers and called to engage in loving actions. That's how we live to God's delight.
What's less obvious to me, but still present in the words in this hymn, are a couple things about mission. One is we often equate mission with a one-week trip to a place where people are in crisis. And it's very intense, and there's a lot of hard work and prayer and fellowship. And then we come home to our own business as usual bubble. It is one kind of mission that's very important to help people in crisis, but also helping people requires routine, sustained, almost relentless service to those who are trapped in substandard situations by systemic injustice, systemic inequality, and they need our help too. I heard a quote recently, everybody wants to be a hero, but nobody wants to help with the dishes. And I think it's just as important to be there when the dishes need to be washed as it is to be there when heroic actions are needed.
Of course, we here at the United Methodist Church of Red Bank resonate with the words, "Oneness mid earth's peoples many-hued," and "A rainbow lights the heaven." In our response, our church is not passive. We don't just reflect the radiance. In our mission, we participate in achieving God's new and glorious dawn.
I think it's important to listen to those you're trying to help, to understand what is the nature of the help they believe they need. If you come in and impose the help you think they need without considering their point of view, it really undermines any permanent trust or kinship or bridge of friendship long term that we're also called to build. And tangential to the listening spirit is the vessels of clay reference, which to me says God intends mission to transform the missionary as much as it transforms the person or people being served.
This tune for this hymn, Beach Spring, is built on a simple scale. With apologies to Maria von Trapp, Beach Spring does not use at all the fourth note, Fa, a long, long way to run, or the seventh note, T, a drink with jam and bread, from that famous do-re-mi version of the major scale. Omitting just two notes is what makes the tune spare and simple. Do, re, mi, so, la, and la, so, mi, re, do.
Change shows up in a lot of the hymns, hymn texts that are associated with Beach Spring. And so one of the things I like about Beach Spring is that it's a very steady, gentle, sustained feeling, which speaks to the ongoing nature of mission and the ongoing nature of transformation as we all work to transform the world and to nudge ourselves towards Christian perfection.
Beach Spring is also old, perhaps early 1800s American, and it harkens back to even older English, Irish, and Scottish traditions. But every world culture includes these pentatonic five-note scales. I'm personally reminded of Korean and Japanese music. So the tune Beach Spring feels, to me, just as simple, global, and inclusive as its words. To build a bridge of care, we join hands across the nations, finding neighbors everywhere.
I'm not one of those people who finds change easy. And even when it's intentional change, it stresses me. And so the 3/4 time signature of Beach Spring to me feels like rocking, and it makes me feel like God the parent is encouraging me and saying, you got this, you can do this, I'm here with you. And to me, that's the most important message in all this.